Hi, good evening and welcome to this video. Recently in the media there's been some controversy over the hotness of this particular product. It's been recalled in Denmark because they say it's too spicy. I think they go as far, I'm not sure if it's lost in translation, they almost say it's poisonous. I'm not going to get into the definition of poisons, let's say, but let's test the hotness of it. Now when I say let's test the hotness of it, I can do that in a very objective manner because I've got the FoodSense Generation 4 in front of me. I'm going to put a chili sensor, a fresh chili sensor, onto the meter now, and you'll see me do a demonstration of that. But first of all, let me just give you a bit of background on this. So we've got this, as I say, I've got this in. Let's say I've ordered it off the internet. It has been banned. I did hear online that they define it as a poison. I think that's a bit strong, let's say, but it's been in the mainstream media, either the Guardian, I think the BBC has also kind of covered it, so you may have heard about this. This is the product itself. I did check the images online, and yes, I have bought the right product. And as I say, we can actually make an objective measurement of this poisonous hot stuff by actually using the FoodSense Generation 4. So let me give you a bit of a, well, the first thing I did was actually have a look at the ingredients. So it's kind of got three main constituents to it. It's got the flakes, which is less than 1% of the total mass. About 22.7% of it is this soup/sauce. This is the guy that contains all of the chilies, let's say, and the chilies contain the capsaicin. We got the noodles themselves. So I will actually give it a taste later on. But that said, I'm going to do a sort of scientific measurement of the Scoville Heat Unit of this. So if we look at the ingredients, all of the chili products are actually in the soup. So the noodles are just a kind of inert material upon which that sort of soup gets poured. If we look, ingredients are often listed in order which they're there. So we've got chili pepper powder in there. We've got chili extract in there, and we've got red pepper powder. It is obviously very hard to say, well, therefore, based on that, the Scoville Heat Unit of this should be this. That is quite hard to say. But, it's not the number one or number two or number three or number four ingredients. They're quite low down, actually, in the ingredients, let's say. So I would be surprised if it's super hot. The cooking instructions, you cook the noodles, you then throw away most of the water, and then you kind of put on this soup and you stir fry that for 30 seconds, and then you add the flakes. What I'm going to do is, what I'm doing is, I'm actually just focusing on the soup thing. So I'm asking the scientific question, not how hot is it when somebody actually eats it on top of the noodles, because that's basically a dilution question, but how hot is this? This is where all the pepper stuff is. How intrinsically hot is this? So that is really the test I'm going to run today. So what I did is I took 0.1 milliliters of this sauce. It's probably a sauce/soup. I probably were saying it's quite viscous, but actually it is. I can bring it up in a pipette. So I have taken 0.1 milliliters with a pipette. I have taken 0.9 milliliters with of the buffer. So I'll just give you a quick sense of that. Now, if you want to know about the buffer, we do lots of, let's say, scientific explanations of why we use buffer, but you can understand by doing 0.1 mils of the soup and 0.9 mils of the buffer, I've effectively done a 1 in 10 dilution, and that will be what I tell the software later on. Now, I vortexed it for 30 seconds. When you first mix the soup and the water together, the soup kind of lays at the bottom. It's kind of oily. I think actually maybe it's got some oil. Yeah, it definitely has some oils in there because you can almost see it. I might just change the camera slightly so you get a slightly better shot of this. So the nice thing about the kind of science and the kind of technology we have is it's not a super, how do I put this, clean sample, but it's good enough for testing on the FoodSense Generation 4. I've got a vortexer here. The vortex is just slightly out of shot, but the vortexer vibrates very quickly. And what I'm doing is I'm vibrating that soup into that buffer to make sure that everything's really mixed up. Now I should really do this for some good time, but I'm going to go quite quickly. So I have done that. I might just change. So I've mixed those two things together. Great. Now I'm going to do the test itself. The app, which is available for download on the Play Store and also on the App Store. So if you're using an Android or iPhone, works either way. The app is in Bluetooth connection with the meter. So I'm instructing the meter what to do through the app. Let me put a sample on here. This is 50 microliters. On it goes, no problems. Now I'm going to run it and we'll see what result we get back. So let me do that. Let me start the measurement. Right, so I know everything's working okay because if I put my finger here, you can see the end of my finger flashing a little bit. That's because there's a LED strip here, which is sort of, it's flashing at the same time the status bar on the app is progressing around, and when it's finished, it will give me a result, and we will effectively be able to tell how hot this actual product is. So it's come back, and I'm gonna hold this up to here so you can see this. It's come back and it's told me that the hotness of that is 5,000, I think I'm reading it right, 366 Scoville Heat Units. 5,366 Scoville Heat Units. I'll just click done. Oh, and it also says upload complete as well. So let me go to what that actually means. So upload complete, what does that really mean? Now, the really nice thing about FoodSense Generation 4 is that not only do we get the sort of results on the phone, nice simple number, I think that was 5,366 Scoville Heat Units, but we also get the data in the cloud as well. So if you're really doing, let's say, quality control, you work in a you work in a factory, or you're even the manufacturer of this, let's say. When I say this, I mean this product here. Then you would go, oh, okay, now I know how hot that is, and I can ship it, and I've got the evidence that everything's good. Let me just share my screen with you for a second, because what this is a cloud system. So the app said it was 5,365, so you can see here it says 5,365.89, so the app has just rounded up, but that's a tiny little alteration, and you can see the raw signal here. I can literally see the fingerprint for capsaicin. So what's very different about this kind of technology is not only do we get the result on the, let's say, on the phone through the app, but we also get the raw data saved to the cloud as well. So we really kind of got the I want to call it, we really have the receipts on that as well. What I want to do is, now I want to kind of jump to a slightly different matter, which is, okay, so this actually is 5,366 Scoville Heat Units. If you measure Tabasco sauce, this will come back with a, also with a heat of something like 2,500 to 5,000 Scoville Heat Units. So this is about 5,000 Scoville Heat Units. This can, when it's fresh, could be about 5,000 Scoville Heat Units. So why is this perceived to be essentially sort of dangerous? I don't want to say poisonous, but I think that, at least in translation, that's what the word came back as. Whereas this, nobody's really complaining about it. And I think it really comes down to, well, at least I'll give you my thought on this, is that this is, and I weighed it, in that sachet, so per serving, you get this much material. This is 30 grams of material, right? 30 grams is approximately 30 milliliters, I should say. And that 30 milliliters is poured over the noodles. So it is diluted, so I can understand that. But if I sort of gave you a thought experiment and said, I want you on a meal to put half a bottle of Tabasco sauce on it, you might actually be quite surprised. And now, I'm no chili head, I'm not one of these kind of channels where somebody eats ridiculously hot things. But, I can deal with, Tabasco sauce, no problems. But I realized I never put half a bottle of Tabasco sauce on my food. So maybe it's not because this is intrinsically super hot. I mean, when I say super hot, this is the bomb. The bomb, we've recorded the Scoville Heat Units of this of easily over 100,000. So this is 100,000. So it's not hot in that respect, and it's not even hot with respect to something quite mild like Tabasco sauce. But you would never think about putting half, well, you would never is a strong term, but most people wouldn't put half a bottle of Tabasco sauce over. So it's actually, because it's actually fairly equivalent to Tabasco, and if Tabasco sauce comes in bottles of 57 milliliters, then they're only obviously expecting you to put a few, sprinklings on your food, let's say. But in fact, these two things are quite similar in heat, and you can almost see it, it's like half a bottle of Tabasco sauce, and that's what's making people think this is super hot. Not that it's hot, it's the amount of the material that actually goes onto the noodles. In fact, there's the evidence there, 57 milliliters in a bottle of Tabasco sauce. So if you've got any questions regarding FoodSense Generation 4 and our ability to accurately and rapidly measure the Scoville Heat Unit of, I would say, quite complex samples, this is, but you can see how quickly we can prepare and test these samples, then don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.